Right now at 10, a local ministry takes it to the streets in Joplin to give back to the community. Plus, airlines canceled about 700 flights today due to winter weather and staff calling out sick from the highly contagious Omicron variant. And we're remembering Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. A local ministry came together today to give back to the Joplin community. The Take It to the Streets ministry did just that at the Route 66 Food Park on West 7th Street in Joplin. They provided food as well as a gift for each person and hygiene products, and they also provided some blankets.
I decided I wanted to get back to my community. You know what I mean? Because this is where I started. I grew up on these streets. I was homeless on these streets, and I know how it feels, you know what I mean? So we started a ministry called Take It to the Streets, where I go out once a week, I feed the homeless, I sit there, and if they call me or they need something, they need food or they need clothes, showers, anything.
Officials are always looking for donations and volunteers. If you're interested, you can reach out to them on Facebook. Another unseasonably warm day today. Nick Kelly joining us.
We'll also throw in another record breaker as well, Chris, because of that good south wind that we had and the passing warm front throughout the day. Just look at these numbers. We started at 42 this morning, but despite all the cloud cover that built in throughout the day, we had no problem topping out at 75, breaking the old record of 71 set back 13 years ago on this very date. So, yeah, why not another record breaker to wrap up this Christmas weekend? But at least we're keeping things quiet on the Skywatch storm tracker. Mostly cloudy skies, trying to clear out a little bit overnight, but you can see a westerly wind ready to kick on in. That's because, thankfully, another cold front is on the way through. Ahead of that cold front, though, we're still seeing temperatures in the mid, even a few upper 60s on the board. But as that front rolls on through during the overnight and with some clearing skies, we'll be in the 40s on the Kansas side to around 50 in downtown Joplin. But everyone's going to see cloud cover build back in throughout the day tomorrow, but still highs near 60. I've got thunderstorms on Tuesday and quite a system by New Year's I want to track, Chris. We'll do that here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Airlines canceled about 700 flights today due to winter weather and the staff calling out sick from that highly contagious Omicron variant. COVID cases are surging in some parts of the country, and getting a COVID test remains a challenge. Tom Hansen has the latest.
It was another day of canceled flights and stranded travelers, due in large part to the highly contagious Omicron variant. Delta, United, JetBlue, and American Airlines pointed to staff sick with COVID-19. Airlines had already canceled hundreds of flights on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and more than 50 flights have already been canceled Monday.
It actually canceled while we were in line to check in.
On Christmas, Florida broke its own record for the highest number of daily cases. That record set the day before on Christmas Eve. Los Angeles saw a 300% rise in new COVID cases last week, creating a huge demand for testing.
I have a procedure that needs to be done, COVID testing before my procedure, and now they're telling us that they're not doing it no more.
The nation's top infectious disease doctor, Anthony Fauci, acknowledged he's frustrated by the limited supply of COVID-19 tests.
We've obviously got to do better. I mean, I think things will improve greatly as we get into January, but that doesn't help us today and tomorrow.
Dr. Fauci says data from around the world suggests Omicron may cause less serious illness, but that the variant's high transmissibility could overwhelm the nation's hospitals with the unvaccinated. Hospitals in Minnesota report that's already happening.
If we get a huge wave of COVID, unfortunately, there's going to be a point where we don't have room to take care of everyone.
Here in New York, there's been a sharp rise in the number of unvaccinated children hospitalized with COVID-19. About half are under the age of 5 and not yet eligible to be vaccinated. And tomorrow in New York City, a new vaccine health order goes into effect. About 184,000 private sector businesses will need to verify their workers' proof of vaccination. There are health and religious exemptions. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
A new study from the National Institutes of Health has found COVID-19 can spread within days from the airways to almost every organ system in the body and can persist there for months. South African social rights activist Desmond Tutu has died. He was 90 years old. CBS's Tina Kraus looks back on his life.
Desmond Tutu retired from public life in 2010 after decades of struggling against apartheid and global injustices. He laughed as he told reporters in South Africa he would no longer be available for interviews. The former archbishop battled prostate cancer for years, but never lost his broad smile and positive outlook on life. The married father of four rose to worldwide fame in the 1980s when he fought against racial segregation.
We will be free!
While Nelson Mandela was in prison, Tutu spoke out against South Africa's brutal apartheid regime. In 1984, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts. The Nobel Committee called Tutu a unifying symbol for all African freedom fighters. 2 years later, he became the first black man to hold the position of Archbishop of Cape Town. In 1994, South Africa held its first all-race election, and Tutu coined the term Rainbow Nation. When Nelson Mandela won the presidency, Tutu said it was one of the greatest moments of his life, and that he told God, "If I die now, I don't really mind." Doctors diagnosed Tutu with prostate cancer in 1997, and he underwent successful treatment in the U.S. The disease did not slow him down, and he traveled the world promoting peace and equality.
I'm so proud to be with my friend again.
President Obama honored him for his efforts to educate people about HIV and AIDS. In 2019, the South African icon hosted a visit for Britain's newest royal, baby Archie. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan posted a video on Instagram with the caption, "Arch meets Archie." With his unshakable optimism and unwavering faith, Tutu will be remembered as one of the world's leading human rights activists. Tina Krause, CBS News.
And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Private First Class Everett Dodson served in the Army during World War II and was awarded a Purple Heart and Air Medal posthumously. His hometown, Joplin. We're proud to recognize Private First Class Everett Dodson, tonight's four-state hero. And remember to learn more about other heroes. Nominate one of your own anytime. Just head over to our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, coming up, we continue our review of 2021 with a look back at some of the biggest entertainment stories.
Movies, shows, and music began their comeback from COVID, making 2021 a big year for entertainers. I'm Anthony Pura with a look back at the major entertainment storylines of the year.
An accidental shooting on a movie set involving Alec Baldwin left a cinematographer dead. Streaming services reigned supreme at the Emmys, and COVID-19 continued to cast a shadow over the entertainment industry in 2021. Anthony Pura takes a look back at some of the top entertainment stories of the year.
Overshadowed by the threat of COVID-19, Americans welcomed 2021 in a low-key manner. Once COVID vaccines became widely available, touring acts resumed performing, production ramped up, and movie theaters reopened. And in September, Broadway was back with a full slate of live shows for the first time in a year and a half. The Grammys, Emmys, Oscars, and Tonys returned to live in-person shows with limited guests. The 63rd Grammy Awards took place on several stages around downtown Los Angeles. Beyoncé broke the all-time record for the most wins by any artist. She now owns 28. Megan Thee Stallion was named Best New Artist. At the Oscars, Nomadland took home top honors for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actress. An accidental shooting on the set of the Alec Baldwin film Rust killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured the director. Baldwin fired the fatal shot not knowing the prop gun he was handed contained a live round. The accident prompted the industry to urge reforms on the use of firearms on sets. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein was returned to Los Angeles to face new sex charges. Britney Spears won her independence from a conservatorship overseen by her father that controlled her finances and day-to-day life. The pop star became engaged to her longtime boyfriend and said she wants to have more children. 2021 was a big year for streaming services. Discovery Plus launched in January, and Viacom's CBS debuted Paramount Plus in March. Streaming services dominated the Emmys, with shows like Apple TV's Ted Lasso, HBO Max's Mare of Easttown, and Netflix's The Crown taking home top honors. Taylor Swift re-recorded and re-released some of her original music after she lost her rights to the masters of her first 6 albums. Adele released her first new album in 6 years, and Tony Bennett retired from live performances. Both were showcased in CBS specials. Jeopardy named Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings hosts for the 2021 season. Former executive producer Mike Richards initially had the gig, but stepped down after offensive remarks he made in the past became public. And the industry lost many notable performers, including rapper DMX, Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts, talk show host Larry King, and actor Charles Grodin. Those are some of this year's top entertainment stories. Anthony Pura, CBS News.
Later on the KOAM News at 10, we'll take a look back at how the box office did this holiday weekend.
Plus, we're out to a mild start to this work week, but plenty of changes are lining up as well. Forecast next. Just trying to keep an eye on our Indigo Sky Casino cam outside of Seneca, Missouri, because even though we kept things quiet throughout the day, notice the camera is trying to dance around in that southerly breeze that decided to get back in action as we got this late evening underway. But still can't deny skies outside of Seneca, Missouri were about as quiet as can be, despite cloud cover earlier today. And with the lifting warm front as advertised, a few of our northern counties picked up on maybe a couple of light, quick showers. That was about it. As far as rain chances go, to wrap up this weekend, this holiday weekend, but looking down the road, we're back in the active part of Doug's pattern and sticking with it. We have thunderstorm and rain chances that I'll be tracking for Tuesday and maybe a couple of showers for Wednesday as well. Then, as we head toward New Year's Day, another good system on the way with thunderstorms during the day on Saturday and possible wintry weather depending on how fast temperatures drop throughout the day. And when I say drop, I mean temperatures turning quite a bit colder as we go into the first week of 2022. And for the time being, though, we look okay from 7th range line, 67 at last check at Joplin Regional. But that south wind at 21, gusts almost near 40 miles per hour. It's no wonder we haven't seen these numbers drop off so much yet. I'll break down why I say yet here in a moment. But that southerly breeze is keeping pretty much everybody in the mid, even a couple of upper 60s on the board. Again, that breeze sustained at least at 10 to 20, wasn't quite as strong during the earlier part of the day, but the wind speeds have picked up a little bit. But notice how we're starting to get a more westerly breeze working across the turnpike. A good reason for that. Let's widen the view out as we take a look at our setup here in the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, any slight rain chances we had today, well over the Mississippi River right now. But here's our next cold front passing on through. Doesn't bring a big cool down our way for Monday, but doesn't have any moisture with it either. So we're going to keep things dry as we get this new work week ahead of us underway. Main upper low with this front as well to the north of us, only producing snow in parts of the upper Midwest and the northern plains. A couple of other upper level lows, try saying that over once, lining up off to the west. Those are going to really come into play as we go throughout the course of the week. In the short term, though, again, that cold front wants to actually clear out some of the cloud cover. I don't think it'll be completely clear, but the future track's got the right idea of some clearing as lows drop eventually into the 40s in the northwestern parts of the viewing area to about 50 degrees around Joplin. Partly sunny by the start of the afternoon, then more cloud cover will build in ahead of our next wave. But before the cloud cover can do anything, we'll go from 50 in the morning, 55 by noon, highs near 60, with eventually a northeast breeze during the afternoon at 5 to 10. Quite the start Monday evening out, but then our next storm system explodes with thunderstorm chances looking pretty likely going into Tuesday morning during the overnight hours. Rain chances to linger through Tuesday morning, then I think we're in good shape as we clear things out for Tuesday afternoon. But still, temperatures wanting to push back to about 67 degrees. So once we get the Tuesday system out of the picture, look at what happens Wednesday and Thursday. Gesturing on top of us, temperatures around the 40s and 50s, closer to normal. Friday, New Year's Eve looks okay, but here's the bigger system I'm watching on Saturday, because it wants to start as rain and thunderstorm chances as we go into Saturday, but as soon as we tap into that much colder air, we could have this potentially end as some snow showers by Sunday morning. But that's not the only story with that system. We'll go from afternoon highs early around 63 Saturday to a high of 27 for our first Sunday of 2022. Before we deal with that shock to the system though, Chris, we'll go 60 tomorrow, 67 on Tuesday, and mainly 50s actually for both Wednesday and Thursday.
You know, we've mentioned this before. Honestly, it's another winter in the 4 states here, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
As crazy as it looks, maybe to somebody not from the area, you know, for us, this is, we expected.
Yeah, I mean, like we've seen really mild stretches like this before, and we really crash when Mother Nature gets back into shape.
She certainly does, doesn't she? All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, a big opportunity is on the way for a local MMA fighter, and the Kansas City Chiefs face the Pittsburgh Steelers, aiming to win their 6th consecutive division title. Sports Director Jacob Leonard's got that and more next.
Welcome back and welcome into the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. This week, it's been a rough week for the Kansas City Chiefs with multiple players hitting the league's COVID list. Now, the Chiefs are without a few starters for today's game against the Steelers, including Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce. The game does go on though. Kansas City trying to lock up the AFC West and a playoff spot against Pittsburgh. First quarter, look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire bouncing off a tackle and scoring. Chiefs out to an early 7-0 lead. Later on in the first quarter, Pittsburgh looking for the flea flicker. Instead, Ben Roethlisberger finds Charvarius Ward, who plays for the Chiefs. Good field position for Kansas City off the turnover, and they would take advantage of it. Patrick Mahomes to K-State product Byron Pringle. 5-yard score makes it 14-0. Kansas City added plenty more after that. On into the second quarter now. This touchdown goes to McCole Hardman from 8 yards away. Chiefs go to half up 23-0. Then in the second half, Mahomes to Pringle, his second touchdown of the game. This one was all Kansas City, man. Chiefs win at 36-10 to claim their 6th consecutive AFC West title.
Offensively, defensively, and special teams were all clicking. The coordinators, the coaches, the players were phenomenal. And that's the way they were all week. They came in with great energy. And just played their tail off. I mean, Pat again having a good day, the defensive line having a great day, the secondary, the linebacker. I mean, everybody kind of put it together and did great.
So the Chiefs are in the playoffs. They've won the AFC West. Now all that's left to do is lock up the #1 seed and home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. Right now, they're a game up on the Tennessee Titans, who won on Thursday night. They're 2 games up on Cincinnati and Buffalo. The Bengals beat the Ravens today. The Bills topped the Patriots. Check it out. We got a huge one next week with the Chiefs hitting the road to face Cincinnati. Former Oklahoma Sooners standout tight end Mark Andrews has been on fire the last few weeks for the Baltimore Ravens. Now today against Cincinnati, racked up 8 catches for 125 yards and this 18-yard touchdown from Josh Johnson. Now, the Bengals won the game, but for Andrews, it's his 3rd straight 100-yard game. This is what he's done the last 3 weeks. He had 125 and a score today. Last week, Andrews posted 10 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. And before that against Cleveland, 11 for 115 and another score. So, put it all together, the last 3 weeks, 376 yards and 4 touchdowns for the former Sooner. Andrews was an All-American for Oklahoma in 2017 and earned his 2nd NFL Pro Bowl selection earlier this week. When we come back, we'll take a look at the bowl schedule for our regional teams this week, plus a big opportunity ahead for Joplin fighter TJ Britton. More on that after the break. Well, we are right in the middle of college football bowl season. We've already seen Tulsa and Mizzou play in bowl games, but we have a few more regional teams in action in the next week. In 3 days, Oklahoma will face Oregon in a top 20 battle in the Alamo Bowl. That one is on Wednesday night. On January 1st, both Arkansas and Oklahoma State play in early bowl games. Then a few days later, on January 4th, Kansas State Wildcats finish up their season facing LSU in the Texas Bowl in Houston. Well, Joplin MMA fighter TJ Britton has a big opportunity ahead of him. Britton will fight at FAC 12 in Kansas City on February 6th with UFC President Dana White in attendance. Britton is 7-2 in his pro MMA career. He'll be facing Isaac Dulgarian, who is 4-0. That fight will be the co-main event. Dana White will be there as part of his show, Dana White Looking for a Fight. So, if someone's impressive in front of him in February, you never know. They may end up on a UFC fight card.
Get an opportunity to fight in front of Dana White, UFC is one of the biggest. It is the biggest organization for cage fighting, and so if you're a cage fighter, it's probably on your dream list to do. And so being able to fight in front of him on his television show, and for him to personally want to watch it was pretty big accomplishment. So I'm ready to go in and have some fun, show him what I can do. I believe I belong there, and I've always said that. I have a lot of people say that, and so we get the opportunity to see what happens, what shakes out.
We'll have our full story with Britton on KOAM News at 6 tomorrow night. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Spider-Man's latest adventure continues to reach new heights at the box office. Here's Douglas Hyde with the weekend's top 5 films.
And Kurt Warner, he's confident because he certainly has something to prove.
The football and faith film American Underdog kicked off in 5th place with $6.2 million. The King's Man premiered in 4th place. The British spy thriller garnered $6.3 million. It was a disappointing debut for The Matrix Resurrections. The 4th installment in the famed sci-fi franchise opened in 3rd with $12 million.
I want to hide.
The animated musical Sing 2 debuted in 2nd place with $23.7 million in ticket sales.
You're not Peter Parker. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Spider-Man: No Way Home ruled the box office for the 2nd straight week with $81.5 million. The superhero adventure has hauled in a colossal $1 billion worldwide, the first film to do that in the pandemic era. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
So, you know, Jacob and I were just talking about this. I haven't seen the movie. He says he has, but from what I'm gathering, it's apparently well worth that $1 billion it's brought in.
I feel like I need to go back and see it a second time because there's so much in one film.
I would say so. And final check-in sports, anything?
Yeah, go to the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. We had our Pigskin preview prediction, where we were right, where we were wrong. Kind of made fun of ourselves a little bit, so go check it out.
That was a great segment, too. I loved that. Nick Kelly, I do not love your 7-day forecast.
What, you don't like highs near 60 tomorrow?
I do like that, but it's the end of that thing I don't like.
We're discussing about between the 50s and the 60s for much of this week. We'll watch for thunderstorm chances Tuesday, maybe a few showers Wednesday, but it turns sharply colder once we get past New Year's.
All right, guys, thank you. That's our time for now. We'll see you back here next weekend. Thanks for making out of your night.